Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. There is no such thing as the perfect time. Too many people are waiting for a sign, waiting for approval, waiting for conditions to be just right before they step into their destiny. But I came to tell you today, if you don't act now, you may never act at all. Procrastination is the enemy of purpose. Every second you waste waiting is a moment you cannot recover. Some of you have been carrying a dream in your heart for years, but fear has kept you from moving. Others have an idea, a vision, a goal, but you are still waiting on God when in reality, God is waiting on you. You were not created to sit on the sidelines of life. You were designed to make an impact, to change the world in a way that only you can. The graveyard is full of books that were never written, businesses that were never started, songs that were never sung, and ideas that died with the people who carried them. And if you don't act now, the world may never see what you were born to give. The greatest enemy to your success is not a lack of money, not a lack of education, not even the challenges you are facing. It is procrastination. Procrastination is the silent thief of destiny. It does not show up with a loud announcement. It creeps in slowly, whispering, "You have time. Do it later. Tomorrow will be better." But the problem with tomorrow is that it never really comes. Some of you have been carrying a vision for years. You've talked about it, prayed about it, even dreamed about it, but you have not moved. You keep telling yourself that you will start soon, but soon never comes. You keep saying, "I'm waiting for the right time." But let me tell you something, the right time is now. The people who wait for perfect conditions never accomplish anything because perfection does not exist. There will always be a reason to delay, always an excuse to wait, always a fear that tries to hold you back. Procrastination is a deceiver because it makes you believe you are in control of time. But time does not wait for you. Time moves with or without you. Every second you hesitate, you lose an opportunity that may never return. How many times have you said, "I'll start next year, I'll try next month, I'll do it when I feel ready"? And yet years have passed and nothing has changed. You are in the same place with the same ideas, the same dreams, and the same regrets. Regret is the heavy weight of realizing that you could have done more, but you didn't. It is knowing that you had a chance, but you let it slip away. The greatest pain in life is not failure, it is never trying at all. It is looking back and wondering what could have been if only you had acted when you had the chance. The richest place on earth is not the gold mines of South Africa or the oil fields of the Middle East. It is the cemetery. Because buried in the graveyard are books that were never written, businesses that were never started, songs that were never sung, and ideas that never left the minds of those who carried them. And do you know why? Because people waited too long. They thought they had more time. They thought they could do it later. But later never came. You were not designed to live a life of hesitation. You were born with a purpose, and every day that you delay is a day that purpose remains unfulfilled. How long will you keep postponing your calling? How long will you keep making excuses for why you haven't started? How long will you wait for someone else to push you into what you should already be doing? The world is waiting for what you have inside you. Your gift was given to you, but it was not meant for you. It was meant for others. And if you do not release it, people who are meant to benefit from your gift will suffer. Some of you are waiting for more money before you start. Some of you are waiting for people to support you. Some of you are waiting for another sign from God. But let me tell you this, God does not give finished products. He gives raw material. You are waiting for resources, but resources follow those who start. The moment you step out in faith, the doors will begin to open. But you must make the first move. Procrastination is the reason why many people die full of dreams, full of ideas, full of books, full of potential. But you were not meant to die full, you were meant to die empty. You were meant to pour out everything inside you before you leave this earth. You are supposed to leave a legacy that speaks long after you are gone. But legacy is not built by good intentions, it is built by action. So I ask you today, what are you waiting for? Another confirmation? Another perfect moment? Another push? There will never be a moment more perfect than now. You have life. You have breath. And that is all you need. Because destiny does not respond to delay, it responds to decision. Too many people are sitting and waiting, believing that one day everything will fall into place. They say, I'm waiting on God to give me a sign, to open a door, to make a way. But let me tell you the truth, God is not the one waiting. He has already given you everything you need. He is waiting on you to act. You see, we have been trained to believe that waiting is a sign of faith. But faith is not passive, faith is active. Faith does not sit still and hope that something happens. Faith moves. Faith steps out. Faith acts even when things are not clear. And the reason so many people never fulfill their purpose is not that God has not spoken it. It's because they refuse to move on what He has already said. God does not give you the whole picture at once. He gives you just enough to take the next step. But too many of us want a full blueprint before we begin. We want the entire plan, the full provision, and the perfect conditions before we act. But if you had everything in place, you wouldn't need faith. If you could see the whole road, you wouldn't have to trust Him. God never gives finished products, He gives raw material. When God wanted to create nations, He gave Abraham a child. When He wanted to build an ark, He gave Noah instructions and wood. When He wanted to save the world, He sent a baby in a manger. He never gives you what is finished, He gives you the seed. But seeds only grow when they are planted. Some of you are praying for a breakthrough, but you refuse to take the first step. Some of you are asking God to open a door, but you won't even walk toward it. Some of you are waiting for a miracle, but God is saying, I already gave you the ability to create what you are praying for. Moses stood at the Red Sea, panicking, crying out to God, wondering what to do. But do you know what God told him? He said, why are you crying out to me? Lift up your staff and stretch out your hand. In other words, I already put the power in your hand, use what you have. And when Moses acted, the sea parted. Some of you are standing before your own Red Sea, waiting for God to move. But God is saying, why are you crying to me? Use what I've already given you. Stop waiting for another confirmation. Stop waiting for another prophecy. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You already have the gift, the talent, the vision. What are you waiting for? There are books inside of you that have not been written. There are businesses in you that have not been started. There are ministries in you that have not been launched. But none of them will come to life until you decide to act. Heaven is ready to back you up, but God will not do what He has given you the ability to do. Look at the great men and women of history, those who changed the world, those who left a legacy. They were not people who sat and waited. They were people who acted. They moved even when they were afraid. They stepped forward even when they didn't have all the answers. And because they moved, the world was changed. What about you? Will you let fear keep you stuck? Will you let doubt hold you back? Will you continue to sit and wait while the years pass you by? Or will you take the step, even if you don't have all the details? Time is moving. Life is passing. The graveyard is filling with people who waited too long. But that does not have to be your story. Your time is now. Your season is now. Because destiny does not respond to delay. It responds to decision. The wealthiest place on earth is not the oil fields of the Middle East. It is not the diamond mines of Africa. It is not the banks of the world's richest nations. No, the richest place on earth is the graveyard. Because buried in the graveyard are dreams that were never fulfilled, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, songs that were never sung, ideas that never became reality, and inventions that never left the minds of those who conceived them. Why? Because fear held them back. Because procrastination stole their time. Because doubt convinced them they weren't good enough. Because they kept waiting for the perfect moment that never came. And so they went to the grave full of what the world was supposed to receive. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is living without ever fulfilling the purpose for which you were created. To die without pouring out everything that God placed inside of you is to rob the world of what only you were meant to contribute. No one else was given your exact gifts, your exact vision, your exact calling. You were uniquely designed to solve a problem on this earth. And if you do not step into your purpose, the world will feel your absence. Think about it. How many people's lives could have been changed if those buried in the graveyard had acted on their dreams? How many businesses could have created jobs? How many books could have inspired generations? How many ministries could have transformed lives, but because they hesitated, because they waited, because they let fear win, their potential was buried with them. What about you? Will your story be any different? Will you live fully and die empty? Or will you take your potential to the grave? Will you look back on your life one day and realize that you left so much undone? Some of you have been carrying a vision inside you for years, but you have not moved. Some of you have talents that are lying dormant, waiting to be used. Some of you have ideas that could impact the world, but they remain locked in your mind. And every day that passes without action is another day that potential goes to waste. Potential means what you could do but have not done yet. It is the capacity for greatness that remains unused. It is the hidden power that is waiting to be released. But potential alone is not enough. The richest soil in the world is worthless unless the seed is planted. And in the same way, your talent, your vision, your ideas mean nothing if they are never put to work. Let me ask you something. If today were your last day on earth, would you be satisfied with what you've done? Would you be able to say, I gave everything I had. I poured out every gift. I fulfilled my assignment. Or would you regret the things you could have done but never did? The saddest words a person can ever say are, if only I had started. If only I had tried. If only I had believed in myself. But regret is a weight too heavy to carry. And the truth is, you don't have to live that way. You still have time. You still have today. And as long as you are alive, you have the opportunity to change your story. The question is, will you? Will you let another year pass without action? Will you keep making excuses while your purpose remains unfulfilled? Or will you decide right now that you will not die full? That you will not take your potential to the grave? That you will rise up and do what you were born to do? The world is waiting for what you have. The world is waiting for your gift, your voice, your impact. But destiny does not respond to hesitation. Success is never given to those who wait. It is never handed to those who hesitate. It does not belong to the most talented, the most intelligent, or the most educated. It belongs to those who decide. The people who change history, who build legacies, who fulfill their purpose are not those who sat and waited for the perfect moment. They are those who made a decision and moved even when they didn't have all the answers. The difference between people who succeed and people who fail is not opportunity. It is not background. It is not luck. It is decision. The moment you decide that nothing will delay you, that nothing will keep you from fulfilling what you were born to do, that is the moment everything begins to shift. But hesitation is the enemy of success. There are people with great ideas, great vision, great dreams, but they hesitate. They second guess themselves. They analyze and overanalyze. They wait for more confirmation, more security, more clarity. And while they are waiting, someone else with less talent but more decision is stepping forward and taking action. You don't need more time. You don't need more signs. You don't need more people to approve of your vision. You need to decide. Think about it. How many times have you had an idea, but before you acted on it, someone else did? How many times have you wanted to start something, but you hesitated and the opportunity passed you by? How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it next year, next month, next week, only to find yourself in the same place with nothing changed? The truth is, opportunities do not wait for those who hesitate. The doors that are open today may not be open tomorrow. The people who are available to help you today may not be there next year. The window of opportunity does not stay open forever. And those who hesitate too long wake up one day and realize they have missed their moment. If you study the lives of the most successful people in the world, you will find one common factor. They moved when others hesitated. They did not wait for perfect conditions. They did not wait for every detail to be clear. They stepped out, took risks, and made a decision to go after what they were born to do. And because they decided, the world remembers them. But the graveyard is full of people who never made that decision. People who had the talent but hesitated. People who had the vision but waited too long. People who had the ability but let fear hold them back. They had everything they needed except the courage to decide. And what about you? How long will you keep hesitating? How long will you keep telling yourself that you'll start someday? How long will you keep waiting for things to be perfect? There is no such thing as a perfect moment. The only time you have is now. The only thing you need is the decision to start. Some of you are waiting for more confirmation, but let me tell you this, your desire to do it is confirmation enough. The fact that the vision won't leave you The fact that the idea keeps coming back to you, the fact that the dream is still burning inside of you, that is proof that it was meant for you. Stop waiting for another prophecy. Stop waiting for another sign. The moment you decide to act, things will begin to shift. Do not let hesitation rob you of your destiny. Do not let fear convince you that you need more time. You do not need more time, you need courage. You need boldness. You need to decide that no matter what, you will move forward. Because success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who decide. And destiny does not respond to delay, it responds to decision. One of the greatest lies that has kept people from fulfilling their purpose is the belief that they don't have enough. Not enough money, not enough resources, not enough experience, not enough connections. And so they wait. They delay. They convince themselves that when they finally have more, then they will start. But the truth is, you already have everything you need to start. God never gives you a vision without also giving you the ability to make it happen. He never calls you to something without placing inside of you the raw material needed to bring it to pass. But the problem is that too many people are waiting for the finished product. They are looking for everything to be laid out perfectly before they take the first step. They are waiting for all the money to show up, for all the support to come, for all the conditions to be right. But success does not work that way. You don't start when you have everything, you start with what you have. And as you move, what you need will begin to appear. Look at the great men and women in history, those who built nations, led revolutions, transformed industries. They did not begin with everything. They started with something, a vision, a talent, an idea, a passion, and they took what they had and worked with it. And because they worked with it, it multiplied. Moses stood before the Red Sea with an entire nation behind him and no visible way forward. But God didn't give him a new miracle. He reminded him of what was already in his hand. What is that in your hand? God asked. It was just a staff, just a piece of wood. But when he stretched it out in obedience, the sea parted. David did not need a sword or armor to defeat Goliath. All he needed was a slingshot and 5 stones, something he already had. The woman with the oil in the Bible thought she had nothing left, but the prophet told her, "What do you have in your house?" She said, "Just a little oil," but that oil was enough. When she obeyed, the oil multiplied. God never asks you for what you don't have. He asks you to use what you do have. Because what you have right now is enough to take the first step. And when you step out, when you move in faith, what you need next will be provided. Some of you have been waiting for years because you believe you don't have enough. You think you need more money, more education, more experience, more help. But what if I told you that everything you need to begin is already in your hands? What if I told you that what you have right now is enough to move forward? Stop waiting for the right conditions. Stop waiting for someone to come and give you permission. Stop waiting for everything to line up perfectly. The people who make history are the ones who start where they are, use what they have, and do what they can. And because they start, doors begin to open. Resources begin to flow. Opportunities begin to appear. There are books inside of you waiting to be written. Businesses inside of you waiting to be built. Ministries inside of you waiting to be launched. But nothing will happen until you take what you have and put it to work. Some of you are praying for more, but God is saying, "I already gave you something. What have you done with it?" If you do not use what you already have, why should you be given more? If you will not act on what is in your hand, why are you asking for something greater? You must decide today that you will no longer let excuses hold you back. That you will no longer let the lie of not enough keep you from stepping into your purpose. You have something. It may seem small, it may seem insignificant, but it is enough to start. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who have everything. They are the ones who start with what they have. And because they start, everything they need begins to follow them. Because destiny does not respond to delay, it responds to decision. Fear is the greatest enemy of progress. It has stopped more people from fulfilling their potential than lack of money, lack of opportunity, or lack of resources. Fear will give you 100 reasons to stay where you are, but it will never give you a single reason to move forward. And because of fear, many people live their entire lives playing it safe, never taking risks, never stepping out in faith, never pursuing the dream inside of them. But here is the truth. Fear is a liar. It makes problems look bigger than they really are. It magnifies risks and minimizes possibilities. It tells you that you will fail when in reality, you have everything you need to succeed. It convinces you that it's better to stay where you are, when in reality, your destiny is waiting on the other side of your fear. The greatest achievers in history felt fear just like everyone else. The difference is they didn't let fear stop them. They moved forward even when they were afraid. They took action even when they were uncertain. They understood that fear is not a reason to stop, it is a reason to press on. Look at Moses. He was afraid to speak, afraid to lead, afraid to stand before Pharaoh. But God told him, I will be with you. And because he moved past his fear, an entire nation was set free. Look at Gideon. He was hiding, filled with fear, doubting himself. But when he obeyed, he led a small army to an impossible victory. Even Peter, when he saw Jesus walking on the water, he was afraid. But the moment he stepped out of the boat, he did the impossible. Fear is always present when you are about to do something great. Fear shows up right before breakthrough. Fear increases when you are closest to your destiny. But the presence of fear does not mean you should stop. It means you should move forward. Some of you have been held back by fear for too long. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of what people will say, fear of stepping into the unknown. But if you let fear control you, you will never accomplish what you were born to do. Imagine if fear did not exist, what would you do? Where would you go? What would you start? Now realize this, the only thing stopping you from that life is your own decision to push past fear. Success does not come to the fearless, it comes to those who act despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to move forward in spite of fear. The only way to defeat fear is to do the very thing you are afraid of. The moment you take action, fear loses its power over you. Fear will tell you that you are not ready, but you must move anyway. Fear will tell you that you don't have enough, but you must start anyway. Fear will tell you that you might fail, but you must try anyway. Because the greatest failure is not falling, the greatest failure is never trying at all. Some of you are waiting for fear to disappear before you act. But fear does not disappear on its own. You must confront it. You must face it. You must step out, knowing that fear will try to stop you, but destiny is waiting on the other side. You will never know what you are capable of until you step beyond fear. You will never see what God has in store for you until you push past your comfort zone. The life you are dreaming of, the purpose you were created for, it is all waiting for you. But you must make the decision to act. Do not let fear steal another year of your life. Do not let fear keep you in the same place while time moves forward. Decide today that you will no longer be controlled by fear, that you will step out, take risks, and move forward in faith, because destiny does not respond to delay, it responds to decision. Time is the most precious gift you have. It is the one thing you can never get back. Money can be regained. Opportunities can come again. Even strength can be renewed. But time, once it is gone forever. And the greatest mistake you can make is to assume that you have more of it than you actually do. Many people live as if they have all the time in the world. They keep saying, one day I will start. One day I will step out. One day I will do what I was born to do. But what if that one day never comes? What if the opportunity you have today is the last one you will ever get? What if tomorrow never arrives? You do not have time to waste. Every second that passes is a second you will never get back. Every day that goes by is another day closer to the end of your life. And the truth is, you don't know how much time you have left. None of us do. Some people say, I'll start next year. But next year is not promised. Others say, I'll do it when I'm older. But how do you know you'll live to see that day? Some say, I'll wait for the right moment. But what if the right moment is right now? There are people who had dreams, goals, and ambitions, but they waited too long. They thought they had more time. They planned for a future that never came. And now their names are written in stone, their dreams buried with them, their potential lost forever. Life is not guaranteed. You do not control time. You only have this moment, you only have right now. And what you do with this moment will determine the legacy you leave behind. Think about this. If you knew you only had 1 year left to live, how would you live? Would you still hesitate? Would you still procrastinate? Or would you act with urgency, making every day count? The reality is you should be living every single day like it is your last, because one day it will be. Some of you have dreams inside you that you have been carrying for years. Some of you have ideas, businesses, ministries, books, inventions, but you keep delaying. You keep telling yourself, I have time. But let me tell you something you don't. The people who change the world are those who understand the value of time. They do not waste it. They do not delay. They move with urgency. They understand that now is the only time they have. Look at Jesus. He only had 33 years on earth and only 3 years of active ministry. Yet, in that short time, he accomplished more than any man in history. Why? Because he understood his time was limited. He did not waste it. He moved with purpose. He fulfilled his assignment before his time was up. Look at the great leaders, the innovators, the pioneers, those who left a mark on history. They did not wait for a perfect time. They did not waste years overthinking and overanalyzing. They stepped into their purpose, knowing that time waits for no one. And now the question is, what about you? Will you continue to waste time waiting for some imaginary perfect moment? Or will you wake up and realize that this is your time? But stop living like you have forever. Stop putting off what you were born to do. Stop assuming that you can delay purpose, because life will not wait for you. Destiny will not wait for you. And the world will not wait for you. You have been given time not to waste, but to use, not to delay, but to build, not to sit, but to move. And one day when your time is up, when your name is written in history, let it be said that you lived full and died empty. Let it be said that you gave everything you had. Let it be said that you did not waste the time you were given. Because destiny does not respond to delay, it responds to decision. My friends, the time for hesitation is over. The time for excuses has passed. The time for waiting has ended. Now is your moment. Now is your season. Now is the time to step into your destiny. Everything you need is already inside you. The resources, the vision, the ability, it's all there. But it will only come alive when you decide to act. Do not let fear rob you. Do not let doubt delay you. Do not let time slip through your fingers. You were not created to live an average life. You were not designed to sit on the sidelines and watch others fulfill their purpose while you wait for a perfect moment that may never come. You have been given a gift, the gift of life, the gift of opportunity, the gift of now. So step out. Take action. Move forward with boldness, because success belongs to those who decide, not those who hesitate. Your destiny is waiting for you, but it will not wait forever. You must seize it while you can. I believe in you. I believe that something great is about to be birthed from your life. I believe that if you make the decision today to stop waiting and start moving, you will see doors open, opportunities arise, and miracles unfold before your eyes. This is your time. This is your moment. It's now or never. Good luck on your journey, and may you walk boldly into the future you were created for. Thank you.